Hey everyone, it's your buddy back again with another exciting fanfic, which is What If Naruto Got Bloodline Harem Part 1 Naruto x Fem Haku x Harem. If you enjoy this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more fanfics like this. Now, let's dive right into the fanfic. The beginning. Team 7 currently is in the final battle with Zabuza's group. The battle is canon up until Zabuza is pinned by dogs. All other battles and situations are the same as before. Prepare to die, Kakashi called out as he ran at the broken form of Zabuza with his hand covered in electricity due to his Chidori. Course Naruto's opponent, friend saw this and rushed up to take the hit for their master. Thankfully Kakashi saw them coming and managed to move his hand just enough so that it went through the shoulder not the heart, but the force still caused Haku to yell out in pain. I always knew you would be a good weapon, Zabuza said with an uncaring smile, then lifted his sword up intending to slice both Haku and Kakashi in half. A move which Kakashi dodges by pulling Haku just out of range. Kakashi then gently places Haku on the bridge before refocusing on the fight. Damn it! How dare you do that to your own teammate? Naruto yelled at him, causing him to let out a sadistic laugh. Kid, Haku was just a weapon to me. I don't care what happens to a weapon after it did its job, and now that it is broken it is useless to me. Zabuza said, then noticed birds chirping behind him. Before he said man could do anything, Kakashi pierced Zabuza through a lung, causing a slower death than if he aimed for the heart again. Course neither one of them noticed the killer intent, ki from now on, leaking from Naruto, or the chakra that was beginning to form around his body. Well, it looks like we are all done here, Kakashi said to himself until he saw a giant army of mercenaries stand on the other side of the bridge. Shit, I don't have enough chakra to fight all of them. Even though I am good at taijutsu, eventually I will still be brought down just by the sheer amount of them. Kakashi thought, worried seeing as it looked like he was about to die with his team. Thank you Konoha ninja for dealing with the demon of the mist. Now be good and let my men kill you, Gato told Kakashi, then turned to his army and continued to talk. Men, bring me the heads of the ninja, and while you are at it get rid of the town. I got what I need from it. I don't care what you do to the civilians, just get rid of them, except for the old bridge builder and his family. I want him to watch as I destroy them, Gato said evilly, then saw them all start to charge down to the bridge until a single arrow hit the ground in front of them. We won't let you take the village, Gato, one of the villagers yelled at him, making everyone notice that on the other side of the bridge was most of the village holding makeshift weapons. Bah, you still will die. Now what are you waiting for? Kill them. But for daring to go against me, take the women so that we can sell them on the market. Maybe then they will realize who they are messing with, Gato told his army, who just smiled and were about to take another step when they felt a massive amount of ki go through the air, causing all of them to find it hard to breathe. Where is this coming from? It is not evil enough to be the Kyuubi, but yet it seems to be coming from my team. Kakashi thought, confused, but then was shocked by what he saw. For standing in the middle of the bridge was Naruto, releasing a massive amount of ki and chakra. Chakra that was now surrounding him in a form that looked to be almost like armor. After it formed, the chakra bulged around his hands, and soon 4 feet of green chains made purely of chakra came out from his hands. Though the thing that scared everyone the most was when Naruto looked at them and they saw dark red eyes with a distorted pupil looking like a whirlpool on a cat's eye that was pure black. These eyes practically glowed with chakra and anger, causing them all to feel some cold sweat form. I am going to kill you bastards, Naruto said in a demonic voice, then disappeared from all eyes except for Kakashi and Zabuza. He then appeared right in front of one of them, slamming the chakra chains at the man. But, instead of just hitting him, they cut through his body like it was nothing, leaving holes in his and the 3 men behind him chests. After that there was a short span of time where all you could see is blood spray up in different locations within the group as an enraged Naruto continued to fight. Finally though, after a few minutes, all that was left of the army of goons was body parts and puddles of blood, a sight that made most civilians look away. Course Kakashi, Sakura, and the now awake Sasuke could only look at their blonde teammate who appeared in front of the massacre zone as he looked over to them with his ki receding but the chakra and red eyes still present. He then calmly walked back to the group without noticing that Sakura was basically scared shitless seeing the bloodied Naruto coming towards him. After all, to her right now he seemed to be the ultimate killing machine. Course instead of even talking to them he went over to the downed Haku and bent down to check his pulse. Good, was all Naruto muttered out before he fell down completely as his consciousness faded. Sensei, what just happened? Sakura asked, still scared shitless. I am not sure, Sakura, but we won. So, Tazuna, how about we go bring Naruto back to your house to rest while we finish building the bridge and cleaning up this mess, Kakashi told him with an eye smile. Okay then, but what about Zabuza's apprentice? I mean, it seems that the blonde Gaki, ninja seems to be a quite friendly to the masked ninja. Tazuna asked, curious. Well, I guess we will just have to decide later. After all, Sasuke is still alive and Zabuza was killed, so who knows what the boy will do. So, for now we will just put a cloth over the wound to not have him bleed to death before we figure out what he plans to do now. Kakashi said, then created 3 shadow clones, one to pick up Naruto gently and another clone to pick up Haku, while the other one used a fire and water jutsu to get rid of the blood and bodies and to collect Zabuza's body and blade for the bounty. Though while he was doing this, all of the villagers quickly realized that they were finally free from Gado's tyranny and began to cheer. Finally, after a couple of minutes they all went back to the village, mostly to begin a celebration, and partially to get away from the gory scene. After a few minutes Kakashi finished his cleanup job and returned to the village as well. But he quickly dropped his students off at Tazuna's house and called for some of the village to come loot Gado's mansion of all its contents. A task he helped with, not only to breathe life back into the village but to also collect some of the money to get the payment they should have received for the more difficult task. Course in the end the villagers also gave him several crates of weapons and products they had no use for to bring back to Konoha along with their rightful amount of money. Course they were also more than happy to give him a rather large tip from the money as well. After all, they would most likely be worked till they died off without the ninja. Even after that though, there was more than enough products and money to keep the village thriving for several years, and even a large amount of food to have their party with. Yes. Now let's get this party started. A random villager yelled out, getting cheers from the rest of them when they returned with the spoils of their looting. But, first let us make sure we thank the people that made it possible for us to celebrate this day. The Konoha ninja, Inari said happily, getting another cheer from everyone. And with that everyone started to party happily, knowing that they finally weren't under the horrible ruler called Gado. Inari was with all the other kids bragging about how he knew the ninja, while the other kids listened in to him, focused completely with their childish conversation. Meanwhile his mother was happily chatting with some of the village's women about random matters with a smile on her face, just as happy as Inari was. Meanwhile Tazuna was drinking with a large group of guys, all happily arguing, talking, and doing random things seemingly without a care in the world. Though Kakashi and Sakura were just eating and trying to enjoy themselves while still hoping that their friends would heal quickly. Kakashi-sensei, do you think that Naruto and Sasuke-kun going to heal completely? Sakura asked, worried about her teammates. After all, while Naruto seemed to be mostly unharmed, Sasuke had loads of wounds and damage from hundreds of needle punctures to deal with. Even if Naruto is a baka, and after he showed us that side of him, he still is our teammate, and a pretty good friend if he would stop trying to date me. I mean, I like Sasuke-kun, but man, what was that side of Naruto? He was so strong in that fight, I couldn't keep my eyes off of him. Who knew he was so good? I wonder what he is hiding under his baggy jacket. No. Bad thoughts, Sakura. You like Sasuke, not Naruto. Sakura thought. Just like my other story, I have no idea what to make the pairings, so I will do them as I go, which will keep the mystery up for you guys. So, I am also leaving my options open for the people. Well, Naruto, knowing his special healing ability, should be healed pretty much completely in probably about an hour or two, a day at max. Though for Sasuke, he isn't the same, so he will most likely be out of commission for a while, though he shouldn't have any side effects to the needles. For it seems that they were aimed to immobilize him rather than kill him or damage him too much. So, don't worry, just try to enjoy yourself, and before you know it, they will be all healed up and I will be training you into the dirt. Kakashi told her, causing her to shiver involuntarily. But he refuses to lose yet another team, so he now decided to focus more effort on making sure they can handle themselves. Thank you, was all Sakura could tell him, not knowing whether what he said scared her or helped her more. In Tazuna's house, Come on, we need to change the bandaging on these guys, Tsunami told one of her friends that volunteered to help her. Yeah, I know, the woman said, then did a small squeal. Though thanks for inviting me to see two of the wave's heroes, the girl said in fangirlish manner. You do realize they are teenagers and you are in your late 20s, right? Tsunami told her. Yeah, I know, but it is still nice to see the people who did so much for us. Though you really need to stop thinking so perversely, Tsunami-chan. The girl told Tsunami, who just sweat dropped at this. You're one to talk. She mumbled but continued to walk towards the downed ninja anyway. Course they went to see Haku first, whose wound finally stopped bleeding, but they still only switched the bandages as fast as possible and went out of the room quickly just in case it turned out that Haku was an enemy still and woke up on them. After Haku was done, they quickly entered Naruto and Sasuke's room, where both boys were sitting on separate beds with Sasuke being covered in bandages. For while both of the boys were recovering, Sasuke was the only one that had actual physical injuries. Poor kid, looks like he went through hell. Tsunami's friend mumbled when she started to change the bandages on Sasuke. Yeah, but sadly they are ninjas. They will be dealing with this and much more for many years to come. What a horrible life to live. Tsunami told her, clearly feeling upset that young kids have to live life like that. Course after they said this, Tsunami's friend finished removing the bandages and was happy to see that most of the injuries seemed to be healed enough so that they won't bleed if he moved. So instead of the thick layered bandage, she replaced it with only a thin wrap. Said wrap was more for precaution's sake than anything else though. Finally, after they finished with Sasuke, they moved on to checking Naruto, only to hear him groan. Something that truly surprised them both, seeing as their teacher said that he would most likely take a few days to recover. I thought you said that both of them shouldn't be waking up anytime soon. Tsunami's friend told her curiously when she heard Naruto. I was told that he was injured badly and had to expend a lot of his chakra to heal by his teacher. So, I don't know why it seems he is going to wake up soon. When Kakashi-san said he should be having chakra exhaustion, perhaps we should get Kakashi-san. After all, I am sure that Naruto-kun will have a lot of questions to be asked. Tsunami tells her friend, then they quickly leave the room to find Kakashi to tell him and to see if they could get some answers as well. Course to do so took quite a while with the massive party going on. Finding said man took a while, but they eventually found the spot where he and Sakura were sitting. Kakashi-san, Naruto seems to be waking up. Though how is that possible? You told me that they both would be out for a while, so how can he even be close to waking up? Tsunami asked him. Well, I told you the truth, but Naruto is a special case that even I don't fully understand. You see, ever since he was a child he has had what can only be called an extreme healing rate. Cuts that last normal people a few days heal in minutes for him. So, I was only giving you an answer if he was a normal person with his problems. Now if you guys don't need me anymore, I think we will go check up on him. Come on, Sakura. Oh, and thank you for telling me. Kakashi told them, and Sakura then left, expecting her to follow. Something she of course quickly did after giving a quick bow to the two older women. Finally, when they got there, they saw Naruto sitting up looking truly confused. How are you feeling? Kakashi asks with an eye smile. Fine, but where are we? And come to think of it, how did I do that? Naruto asked, staring at them, giving them both, which gave them a chance to look at his eyes. Something that made Sakura gasp out of shock and Kakashi's eyes to widen a bit. Naruto, before I answer your questions, I want to ask you what happened to your eyes. But don't worry, we are in a safe place. Kakashi told him. My eyes? Naruto asked, confused, then walked over to the bedroom's mirror and gasped in shock as well. What did happen to my eyes? Naruto asked, just as confused when he saw what they did. For his pupils, which were once large blue circles like everyone else's, were now morphed to look like two whirlpools of blue, and the pupils have vanished completely. So even you don't know, Kakashi mumbled to himself, then decided to ask Naruto about a theory he hoped was wrong. Naruto, do you think this new change has anything to do with your special problem? Kakashi asked, knowing Naruto knew of the Kyuubi but not wanting Sakura to find out about it. Naruto simply said, still confused, until he finally realized what his sensei was talking about. Oh, no, I don't think it is, because I used both this and that chakra problem at the same time. Plus, the last time I used the chakra I didn't get like this. And I am sure that I would have known if it was due to my special chakra. Naruto told him, making Kakashi sigh in relief slightly, but it was hidden from sight due to his mask. Besides, Fuzzbutt wouldn't do something like this without trying to get something in return. Naruto thought but refrained from saying it because he didn't want Sakura to know about the Kyuubi yet either. Chakra problem. Naruto, since when did you have a problem with your chakra? Sakura asked, remembering how much Naruto loved using jutsus over and over again. Not to mention that he always seemed to not even be fatigued by it. Well, I kind of have a problem where, the massive amounts of chakra I have pools up when I don't use it enough, and it sometimes comes out in bursts every now and then, ruining my control but helping my strength and speed. Yeah, that is it. Naruto told her, happy that he found what he thought was a good enough lie to use. Naruto always seems to be in good health, and I've never heard of even cages never got. So, this seems kind of fishy. Well, maybe I should just look into the disease or whatever it is in the library when we get back. Sakura began to plan in her mind, not happy that she didn't know at least something about this even when she was practically a living library of ninja information. Okay, then I guess we will have to get it looked at when we get back home. But for now, let me answer your questions with a brief explanation of what happened. Kakashi told them, breaking up the conversation that could make Naruto accidentally tell his teammate about the Kyuubi. He also went through all of the events, seeing as he was unsure how much of it Naruto actually would remember. So, to begin with, we are in the Wave Village again, treating you and Sasuke in our client's house. We also have the masked ninja here as well, but that isn't all that important until he wakes up. Now the village is celebrating the loss of Gato's oppression, something you had a large part in helping out with. Kakashi told Naruto, answering all of his questions. After thinking about the story for a moment, Naruto got out of the bed he was laying on and quickly got changed. He then went with his team to enjoy the party after quickly checking on Sasuke. Course, he also wanted to check on Haku, but Kakashi clearly wasn't planning to let that happen until the man was deemed harmless to them. End of wave mission. After the party, everything went by pretty fast. Sasuke woke up after a few days still a bit sore. The bridge was built quickly with everyone helping, and soon it was time for the ninjas to head back home. Though the talk they had with Haku when he woke up was interesting. Goodbye, the Konoha ninjas told the crowd one last time, then quickly left to get to their village with Haku following along. Course, after they left, one of the other villagers walked up to Tazuna to ask the question that they would all have pretty soon. Hey Tazuna-san, what is the bridge going to be called now? Well, I guess we could name it after those guys, but the name would be way too long. And we can't just use one of their names, I mean they all did something to help us. Wait, I know, we will call it the Hope of the Wave because that is exactly what it is. Tazuna told everyone around him, happy that he thought of a pretty good name. Team 7, Haku Team 7 and Haku were traveling along quietly, not seeing any need to talk at the moment. Instead, Team 7 was just happy that they came out of the harder mission alive, while Haku was busy thinking about his future. I hope I am allowed to live in their village. I mean, the mist had me for my bloodline, and instead of killing me, they tortured me constantly to a slow death. But I don't want to go through that again. I just don't know what will happen, but if that happens again, then I will make sure I put an end to it quickly. Haku thought with a small shiver, remembering all of the trouble he had at the mist, but then looked over to Naruto. Though Naruto might actually help me. Who knows, maybe he is a perfect person for me. Though will I be able to trust him with my secret? I mean, when Zabuza realized it, he immediately wanted me to hide it, and I did as best as I could, but it is really hard to hide it. Maybe he will be the one to accept me even with what Zabuza calls my annoying problem. Oh, well, I guess I will find out eventually, but for now I will just make sure to keep the suicide pill I have hidden close at hand until I am sure that it is safe. I mean, seeing as I can't use chakra and don't have my weapons, it is the only defense I have. Haku thought sadly, but still followed the Konoha ninja anyways. After all, he was at a loss when trying to think about what to do if this idea goes south. I wonder what the new problem with my eyes is going to turn out to be. I mean, I don't feel any different right now, but what if it is something serious? Wait, Fuzzball doesn't keep too much damage on me for too long, so it either isn't bad or it is so bad that even he can't heal it. Wait, come to think about it, why does he even bother to heal me if he hates me and wants to get free? I mean, if I die, he would be reborn in the world eventually, right? I guess I will have to ask him about it in our next argument. Naruto thought as he jumped from tree to tree. Meanwhile, Kakashi was lost in his own thoughts as well. Naruto said that the power he showed on the bridge was a combination, so it can't be because of the fox. But what could it be? I mean, the last time I saw chakra chains was with Sensei's love Kushina, Uzumaki. Wait, does that mean, could it possibly be, is Naruto Sensei's son that he had with Kushina? Kakashi yelled out in his own mind when he realized that Naruto not only looked like Minato but he also had the chakra chains that only Kushina could seem to do. Looks like the Hokage has a lot of explaining to do. Kakashi then added before deciding to focus on the present, seeing as he couldn't get any answers at the moment. So, with this story, Kakashi does not know that Naruto is the son of Minato, and even though it is rather obvious, most people just choose to ignore his resemblance due to hatred of the Kyuubi. Also, Haku's time in the mist was filled with hiding skills without understanding why, fearing ninja coming after his family, watching his family die and fight against each other when bloodlines were found out, etc. Overall, it was far from a good time. Konoha. Finally, we made it back. Come on, Kakashi sensei, can we get some ramen before we go see Oji-san? Please, can we? Naruto begged Kakashi as soon as they passed through the gate, making Kakashi smile at the blonde's actions. Sorry Naruto, but we must give the mission report now, but after that is done, if you want to go get some food, I have no problem with it. Kakashi told him, simply causing Naruto to cheer happily. Geez Naruto, do you always think about ramen? Sakura complained, causing the blonde kid to turn to her, but the smile never left his face. Yes, of course, it is the food of the gods or god or whatever, but anyways, it is so good that it deserves everyone's undivided attention. Naruto told her, somehow keeping the large smile plastered on his face the whole time. After that, they all went to the mission room to hand in their team's report, with Haku still following. Oi, Oji-san, we're back. Naruto called out happily to Sarutobi. Hello Naruto-kun, Team 7. Sarutobi told them with a small smile on his old face. Then he noticed Naruto's eyes. So he finally awakened it. He thought simply, then pretended he didn't notice. Instead, he listened as the team gave a verbal report of the mission and its drastic changes until they finally got the reason Haku was standing behind them. So, Haku, you want to become a citizen and eventually a ninja of our village? Sarutobi asked the nervous person that was in the corner of the room. Yes, Hokage-sama, was all Haku said. Okay, then why should we allow you to do so? After all, even though you aren't a missing ninja, you still were an accomplice to Zabuza. Sarutobi told him. Well, Hokage-sama, I worked under Zabuza because he saved my life. You see, when I was younger, I lived in a place where bloodlines were hunted down and destroyed. And due to having a bloodline to control ice, they of course hated my clan. In fact, I could very well be the last member of my clan, but I have no idea if this is true or not. But I do know that having me in the village would give Konoha a new bloodline. Also, I have some skill in civilian medicine, and I believe I will be able to use an acceptable level of healing jutsu if given proper training. Finally, seeing as it was Naruto-sama who beat me, I feel that it is necessary for me to become his weapon. So, I need to stay around him if at all possible. Haku explained, shocking everyone present. Wait, what? Naruto yelled out when he heard this and looked like he was going to say more until they heard Sarutobi laughing. Man, you really are an interesting person. So, tell you what. We will make you into a civilian, and then after a few months of supervision I will let you train to be a medical ninja. Plus, seeing as you seem to be close to Naruto-kun here, I will even make sure that you get an apartment close to him. So, why don't you head down to the civilian registration center and get signed up with this seal of approval from me, and take one of my anbu to show you the way. Sarutobi told Haku, happily handing his recently called for anbu a sealed letter to give for Haku after only a few minutes of writing said letter. The two of them then left the room after bowing in respect to the Hokage. Okay, well, that was interesting. Kakashi said with an eye smile, then got serious. So, Hokage-sama, I am sure you see what happened to Naruto's eyes and now know what happened on the bridge. So, do you have any idea what would have caused this? He asked, completely serious. Yes, I do know what happened, but how about we take this conversation to somewhere more private? Saratobi told them, then went to his office expecting them to follow, which they quickly did. Saratobi's office. Okay then Naruto, your new eyes are from your Uzumaki heritage. You see, the Uzumaki are known for their chakra chains that no one else could seem to master, even though many have tried. Though this wasn't because they were skilled, but instead it was because of their bloodline. Something that has been purposely kept secret throughout history. Now they all had the swirl in their irises, which showed them as true Uzumaki, though most of them used genjutsu to hide this so foreigners never found out. Also, while their chakra coils look normal, they really have a much more special system. For their chakra is denser, letting their already large chakra coils hold a lot more chakra. But you will have less control over it, making you have to work harder to make much use of said chakra. As for the chains, here is a scroll from your mother that contains a letter for you, some jutsus and other information about your heritage. Saratobi explained to Naruto, making him freeze out of shock. You mean I am from a clan? Naruto yelled out in surprise, just getting a nod in return. After that, Naruto happily took the scroll, put some blood on the seal, opened it up and began to read. To my son. Naruto, if you are reading this, then that means that I passed away. Now I am truly sorry that I didn't get to see you grow up. Anyways, I left this note with Saratobi just in case so you can hear some of the information of our clan. Now I don't want to get into that right now, but it will be at the end of this letter. Now, son, I want you to live a happy life and make sure that you follow the clan's way. Though I do expect you to learn a few of my jutsus and styles as well as your father's. Just make sure you can do his signature moves, the Rasengan and the Hirishin, seeing as these moves will help you become famous. Oh, and if you get forced to get CRA placed on you, just make sure you love them all equally, or I will come back to life and kick your butt. Love you, my son. Your loving mother. Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. Naruto read, shocking him even more. I am the son of the 4th Hokage and one of the most feared kunoichi. Naruto called out in surprise, shocking the rest of the people present. So, I was right, Kakashi thought happily. Damn, I didn't think she would put that into her letter. Okay then Naruto, it is the truth, but I couldn't tell you because they both had a lot of enemies that would want to kill you. So, please understand. Saratobi told Naruto, hopping he wouldn't have the kid he thought of as a grandson hate him. Quote, comma dot. Well, I guess I understand that, but can we tell people about it now that I am a ninja? Naruto asked him after thinking about it for a while. No, you are not strong enough right now, though I suppose we have to at least tell the council. But anyone else is a no-go until I say so. Which hopefully will be around the Chunin exam. So, anyways, I will call you back here sometime next week for that meeting, just so that we can use your eyes as proof. Saratobi said happily, thinking that Naruto would leave to think now just because he needed some time to think about how to handle Naruto now knowing the truth. Okay, Oji-san, but one last question. Naruto told him a bit shyly, which surprised the old Kage. Sure, Naruto, ask away. Saratobi asked, now curious about what he would ask. Course, Naruto just blushed a bit, then asked his question. Why did mom say that I might have more than one girlfriend, and what is CRA? Naruto asked, still blushing about the idea of having more than one girlfriend. Well, you see, the CRA is, Saratobi began to tell him, trying to think of a way to tell the boy without shocking him too much. Underscore with Haku underscore. Okay, then just fill this out and you will officially be a part of the village. The receptionist told Haku, who thanked them, then sat down to fill the paper out. Let's see, name, age, date of birth, X, seems simple enough. Haku thought, filling the paper out quickly. Then he got to the one question he had to think about until he finally made a decision and checked the spot, telling everyone his secret. Normal talking, normal thinking, demon talking, demon thinking, talking to demon. It is what? Naruto yelled out, blushing. I said what I meant, Naruto. The CRA is you marrying more than one girl so that you can rebuild your clan. For now, it will only be the Uzumaki clan, but hopefully we can soon combine it with the Namikaze clan later on. Saratobi told the still shocked boy. Now why don't you go home and get some sleep to digest the information I just told you? Saratobi told Naruto, who simply nodded and began his trip home. with the idea of getting his ramen now buried under his own thoughts. Meanwhile, Kakashi just looked over at Sarutobi with an amused look on his face. You are planning to watch how Naruto's life goes on in Konoha now, aren't you? Kakashi asked quickly, causing the old Kage to smile a bit. Oh, yeah, and maybe we will have to call back Jiraiya to get some ideas for his books from this. Sarutobi told one of the only people that knew of his hobby of reading his students' books in private. Course, Kakashi just gave the Kage an eye smile and left Sarutobi's office, forcing said Kage to get back to work on his paperwork. Naruto. When Naruto finally got home, he noticed that Haku was walking into the apartment building as well. So, he called out to his newest friend. Hey Haku, how did the registration go? Well, Naruto-sama, I am officially a resident of Konoha. Plus, I easily passed the civilian medical test, so in a few days I will be able to work there as well. Haku told him happily. That is great. Now how about we get you settled in your new apartment, Naruto asked her, then opened the door of Haku's apartment only to see that it was empty. Wait, what? Naruto asked in confusion, seeing as he thought that all of the rooms just came with stuff like his did. Well, Naruto, this was the cheapest apartment Konoha had, so I took it. The only problem is that all of the furniture was so old that it was unable to be used anymore, so the apartment owner had to get new stuff, but apparently didn't have time, so I have to buy it myself. Course, all I use on buying it will count as rent, but still it will take time. So, tomorrow I will go and get the furniture, but for now I have to sleep on the floor. Haku told him, then tried to walk into her home but was stopped by Naruto grabbing her shoulder. Nonsense, until you get your furniture you can stay with me. You can have the bed and I will take the couch. Naruto told Haku, trying to be nice, then remembered something. Oh, and don't call me Naruto-sama, I'm not your master. Just call me Naruto-kun or something because we are friends. Naruto told her with a smile, then went inside his apartment, pulling Haku in with him, and soon enough they both were getting ready to sleep. Course, when Haku finished changing, she decided to walk into the living room to say good night to her master friend. Good night, Naruto-kun, Haku told him when his back was towards her. Yay, good night. Wait, what? I thought you said you were a boy. Naruto yelled in shock when he finally looked at Haku. For Haku currently wore a light blue nightgown that was slightly see-through, showing her blue undergarments from time to time. She also took off her chest bindings, allowing her decent chest to be seen now that she was settling down to go to sleep. Well, Naruto, I told you that I followed Zabuza-sama's rules, that was one of them. Apparently, it was because he thought people wouldn't take me seriously as a missing ninja accomplice or something sexist like that. Haku told him, a bit upset remembering the time she spent with her father figure. I guess that makes sense. Good night, Haku-chan. Naruto told her, blushing a bit about the idea of having a girl sleeping so close to him and even in his bed. Plus, she wasn't that bad looking as well. Though eventually fell asleep thinking about all the new clan stuff he will learn now. Meanwhile, Haku had trouble sleeping as well. This is so strange. Being without you, Zabuza-sama, I mean you were the one who taught me everything I know. Haku thought sadly, then cheered herself up a bit with her next thought. But now I have Naruto-kun and he seems to be a pretty good boy. So, maybe he will be one of things I always wanted but never could have. A best friend, and maybe later on he might become another thing I always wanted as well. Haku thought semi-happy, then went to sleep herself thinking about future hopes. Next day. When Naruto finally woke up, he enjoyed something he never had before, someone making a home-cooked meal for him and themselves. Good morning, Naruto-kun, I made breakfast for both of us. Though I had some trouble seeing as most of your food supplies is instant ramen. Haku told him, then handed him his share of the eggs and bacon. Thank you, Haku-chan, Naruto told her with a large smile, then began to eat. So, how long until you become a medical ninja? Naruto asked between chewing. Well, I think that it should only be a month or two, seeing as I am pretty sure I can learn it pretty fast. But that all depends on Hokage-sama's decision, seeing as I am still under probation. Haku told him with a small shrug. Oh, okay then, well I am sure that the old man will make you a medical ninja in no time at all. Just be patient. Naruto told her, causing a faint smile to appear on her lips. Thank you Naruto-kun, now hurry up and go to your team meeting. Oh, and I will come over and get you when it is time for lunch. That way we will make sure that you eat something better than the instant ramen you seem to be hoarding. Of course, Naruto wanted to say that ramen was supreme, but even he had to admit that a home-cooked meal would be better than store-bought ramen. So, instead he simply smiled at Haku and finished his meal before heading out the door with a quick goodbye. Meeting. For once Kakashi was only half an hour late, so they quickly began the meeting. Okay then guys, after doing that mission I have decided to give you 2 days break. So, after 2 days report back here for a few easier D-rank missions and some training. Kakashi told them simply with an eye smile. Yay arigato sensei. Naruto cheered happily, then ran off to a training ground. The council may be forcing me to put the Uchiha's team into the Chunin exams even though they still lack teamwork. But I can use the time I have left to make sure that they don't die or get injured too badly. Kakashi thought, then left the area himself, leaving Sakura and Sasuke all alone. Oh, great, here we go again. She is going to try to ask me out again. When is she going to get the fact that I can't use her to rebuild my clan until I kill my brother? Sasuke thought, then prepared to say no. But to his surprise she didn't even talk to him. Instead she just walked away, still thinking about recent events. Well, that was different. Sasuke thought, surprised as he watched her leave, then went off to train himself. Though if one was to put more thought into it, they would be truly surprised that none of the teens were upset that they not only had to get up early but also had to wait half of an hour just to be told that they are getting time for themselves. Naruto. When Naruto reached one of the village's training fields, he quickly reopened the scroll and began to work on his projects. Couple of hours later. Yay! So what are we going to learn today, Kurenai-sensei? A new Kiba began to ask excitedly until he saw the training field, which shocked each one of them. For all around the training ground were cut trees, boulders with holes in them, and even a few gashes on the ground. Also, right by the small river was a blonde-haired boy who seemed to be focusing on the water in front of him. Though soon they saw why, when the water he was looking at began to twist, forming a small whirlpool until he looked away from it, making it slowly stop. Oi, what are you doing? Kiba asked as they came closer to him. Though Kiba was truly surprised when he finally realized that the man in front of him was none other than Naruto. Naruto. Kiba calls out, shocked seeing as Naruto looked so different without his classic jacket on. Even Kiba had to admit that without the horrible-looking jacket, Naruto looks like a proper ninja, with his muscular figure being partially visible under his chainmail. In fact, to those that have actually seen his father would think they were basically twins when ignoring the whiskers. Oh, hey guys. Sorry for using your area, but I just couldn't wait to try out my newest jutsus. Naruto told them, rubbing the back of his head in embarrassment. Which of course made Hinata blush a bit more, while she was unable to take her eyes off of Naruto's lean body. Course, before they could respond to Naruto, they saw a beautiful girl in a dark blue kimono run past them to give Naruto a hug, which of course got Kiba jealous. Naruto-sama, I got the job. Haku told him happily, still holding onto him until she noticed they had company. Oh, hello, Haku told them, letting go of Naruto and giving them a small bow. Guys, let me introduce you to Haku-chan, who just became a resident of Konoha and my new neighbor. She is also quickly working her way up to be a medical ninja. Naruto told them, giving them a quick explanation of who she was. And Haku, this is Kiba, Shino, and Kurenai, one of Konoha's best tracking genin teams. Naruto told her, pointing at each of the people he introduced. Hello Haku-chan. Now how about you and me go get some lunch to get to know each other better? Kiba asks, trying to flirt with her. Sorry, but I can't. I just finished cooking lunch for Naruto-sama and me when I got the call from the hospital. Anyways, it was nice meeting all of you, but we need to eat lunch before it cools off too much, Haku told him politely. Course, before any more could be said, Kurenai began to glare at Naruto, clearly disliking the fact that Haku was calling Naruto-sama. Wait, Kurenai, it is not what you think. We are just friends, but my team found her after we beat her last master in the wave. So for some reason she has decided to call me Sama, even though I told her to call me Kun, Naruto told her, sweating a bit, knowing that Kurenai disliked any guy that was perverted, and having a girl call you Sama apparently was in her eyes. Is that so? Kurenai asked, clearly not believing Naruto. Thankfully thought Haku decided to save Naruto. Yes, that is correct. You see, I was a missing ninja's accomplice and Naruto was the one to beat me, so I decided that now that my old master is dead that I would follow Naruto instead. Haku told her, and thankfully that seemed to calm down when she said this, though she still wasn't too happy with the idea. Okay then, bye guys. Naruto told them, then left with Haku following him home so that he could go eat. Course no one noticed the fact that Hinata seemed to be glaring at Haku for quite a while. Another girl is trying to get in my way of being with Naruto-kun. I really do need to pick up my game now before any of these girls beat me and manage to win Naruto's heart, but what should I do? Hinata thought, still glaring in the direction where Haku went. Okay then, let's get to work on our own training. Kurenai told them, then began to tell them what they were going to do this time. Plus next day late afternoon plus. Sasuke was mad. He just learned that Haku was a girl and that she was now basically calling Naruto her master. Why does that Dobi get to have that strong and good-looking ice user as a slave? She should be mine. I mean, I know that I promised myself that I would kill my brother before restarting my clan, but screw that, I have to make sure that none of the girls in this village that will produce strong babies will be taken by Naruto before it is too late. I mean, first a Hyuga, now an ice user. Which clan is next? Sasuke ranted in his mind, heading towards Haku's apartment. When he got there, he quickly knocked on the door and soon enough Haku opened it for him, wondering what he wanted. Hello, Ice User-san, I have great news for you. You have been decided to be the first girl to help with restoring the Uchiha clan to its former glory. Sasuke quickly told her, preparing for the girl to latch onto him, giving herself to him as thanks for the honor. Course he was surprised by what actually happened. For instead of throwing herself at him, she simply told him no in a voice that cold freeze hell over, then shut the door in his face, leaving the shocked boy to his own thoughts. After that interruption, Haku calmly walked over to one of the rooms that shared a wall with Naruto's apartment and kicked a hole into the wall large enough for her to walk through. Haku-chan, why did you just do that? Naruto asked her after running up to figure out where all the noise came from. Well, Naruto-sama, I figured you may need something at any time, so rather than having to go through a door to get to you, I can just walk through this passageway. Plus, if you wish to ask me for anything, you can go into my room at any time you want to tell me. Haku told him, seeing as in her mind Naruto still was her master no matter what he says. Okay, then I guess, but this might be a bit too friendly. So, can we at least put a door up here? Naruto asked. Well then, that would just defeat the purpose. Haku told him, showing no emotion. But isn't it not appropriate for a guy to have easy access to a girl's room? I mean, aren't you afraid I would try something? Not that I would, of course. Naruto told her, then quickly added the last part so that he hopefully wouldn't be thought of as a pervert. If that is what Naruto-sama desires, his tool must give it to him. Haku told him plainly, then began to loosen her kimono until Naruto quickly stopped her. Wait. There is no need for that. I was just wondering, that is all. I am happy that you trust me, so I guess this will work. Naruto told her, blushing a bit. Course Haku just gave him a quick smile and walked away. Great, now that I can't find a way to talk her into blocking this up. If I ever have people over, they will think that I am taking advantage of Haku-chan, which I would never do. For once I am happy that I don't have many people visiting my home. I don't want any rumors to start up about us. I mean, she just got here, she doesn't need her reputation to be wrecked by the demon. Naruto thought sadly, then walked away as well. Plus next day plus. Haku, just to tell you, Gramps wants me to attend a long meeting, so I probably won't be back for a while. Naruto told the girl, who was practically his roommate now, and then left to go to the meeting. Council room. Why have you brought us here, Sarutobi-sama? Hiyashi asks, curious. Well, I have brought you all here to tell you all that one of our ninja has brought back a bloodline that we haven't seen for ages. Sarutobi told them with a small smile. Course after he said this, all of the council started mumbling, trying to figure out what the bloodline was and who had it. And Sarutobi let them ponder this until they finally heard the door opening again. After which everyone's eyes were drawn to the door to see Naruto coming into the room, which caused some people's blood to boil. Brat, get out of here. We are waiting for the bloodline user, not a demon child like you. One of the civilian council members yelled at Naruto, who just glared at the person and then quickly produced his already favorite ranged weapon, chakra chains, which right now was blue due to him not putting his affinities into making them something that shocked the crowd. No, you can't seriously tell me that this demon has the bloodline of Kushina Uzumaki? The council member asked in disbelief. Course Sarutobi just smiled and decided to tell the council he could trust Naruto's secret with a warning, of course. Yes, he somehow got the bloodline now. Seeing as it is a shinobi matter, we have no need for all of you in the civilian council, so please leave this room. Sarutobi told them, then watched them walk out, mumbling about how unfair it was for only the ninjas to hear how the demon got his powers. Oh, yeah, we really don't need the elder council either in this matter either, seeing as it is not that important to Konoha's actual workings. He continued with a smirk as he happily watched the rest of the more untrustworthy people leave the room. Though as soon as they all left, the room was secured to make sure no one could eavesdrop, and then he prepared to explain Naruto's heritage. Okay, now just to make sure all of you know, what is said here today is a double S-class secret, and telling anyone without permission is punishable by death, Sarutobi told them, then watched as they all nodded their heads, showing that they understood. Now I know you guys may not believe this, but Naruto is actually the last known Uzumaki. Sarutobi continued to tell them, shocking them. Wait, but the last one was Kushina, who seemed to only have eyes on. Wait, you mean, can he really be? I thought you just gave him the Uzumaki name to give an easy reason for the village to not have a history on him. Shikaku asked in total shock. The son of who, Shikaku? Inoichi asked his old friend, unable to figure out why his normally lazy and uncaring friend who now was so shocked and crazed. Yes, Naruto's name is actually incomplete. He is actually Naruto Uzumaki Nakame's son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze. Sarutobi told them, shocking them all. Come to think of it, how did we not figure this out? I mean, look at the boy, he is practically a clone of Minato except for the whiskers with all the personality of Kushina, Inoichi asked them, making them all look at Naruto, realizing the same thing. Okay then, so what is this bloodline you were talking about? Sume asked, now curious. Well, actually it will be easier just to see it. So, Naruto-kun, would you please show them again? Sarutobi asked Naruto, who simply created a couple of chakra chains yet again and just had them hang from the palm of his hands for a few moments until he reabsorbed them. Yay! So basically with Naruto's thicker chakra he can create whatever he wants as long as he has enough chakra. And with the fact that he now has a limitless source of chakra that is quickly expanding his coils, he can quickly become, Sarutobi began, then was interrupted by Shikaku. One of the greatest ninjas to ever live. An indestructible force capable of destroying armies just like his father. Shikaku mumbled, eyes wide, realizing this. Course this statement shocked everyone else in the room as well except for Sarutobi, who already realized Naruto was destined to become a great ninja. So, to put it in more simple terms, Naruto now has the large mass of chakra thanks to the Uzumaki clan and the beast that was sealed within him. He also should be more than able to use the skills and techniques that the Uzumaki are known for, as well as his father's signature moves, which makes him already have a massive amount of room to grow into an amazing ninja. Though thinking logically, we should make sure that the Uzumaki clan is capable of surviving, meaning that Naruto should be put under the CRA just like Sasuke is. Shino's dad told the group, logically causing Sume to grumble a bit about the last part. Course everyone agreed with Shino's dad's statement, and the meeting ended with Naruto now being promised a clan head position when he becomes a Jonin and was forced to be in CRA. So, the still shocked and blushing boy left with a scroll stating just that on paper. Back at apartment. Hey Haku, I am home, Naruto called out but got no answer, even though he called out loud enough for someone to be able to hear him from almost anywhere in the house. I guess she is out or something. Oh well. I guess I will just leave a note for her telling her that I am going to probably be away all day, seeing as I really need to do some serious training to clear up my mind a bit. Naruto told himself, then quickly left, leaving the note taped to the front door of Haku's apartment with her name on it, then left. Haku. Haku was simply walking around the village enjoying the heat of the mid-afternoon sun until she heard someone run closer to her. Hey Haku-kun, how are you doing in your new life? Sakura asks when she finally reached Haku, who shocked the girl just by turning around. What? So, you are Haku-chan? Sarukura asks confused, noticing Haku's figure was now more feminine. Yes, Sakura-san, I hid my actual SX from you guys just because that was what I was told to do that all my life. But I can assure you that I am without a doubt a girl. Haku told her, hoping that she doesn't need to explain it completely again. Oh, okay then, Sakura told her, still a bit confused. So, anyways, how is it going so far? Sakura asked, deciding not to worry about it. Well, I guess it has been pretty good. I mean, I got an apartment quickly thanks to Hokage-sama, and I have enough money from before to survive until I can become a medical ninja. Haku told her, smiling. Course that just made Sakura happy as well. Well, if you are going to be a ninja like us soon, then how about we get you to meet some of us girls in one large housewarming sleepover? I mean, all of us will chip in so you don't have to worry about spending too much on food and such, so how does it sound? Sakura asked, excited. Sure, why not then? Haku told her, shrugging her shoulders. Great, so I will go tell the others and we will meet you at your house at 8. See you then, Sakura told her, then raced off but quickly came back. Where exactly is your house anyways? Hee, Sakura asks, laughing embarrassed. Course this just made Haku laugh a bit, then told Sakura quickly where she lived, then watched as she ran away to talk to the other girls as quickly as possible. Haku, Naruto's apartment, 8 p.m. Haku just reached her apartment when she noticed that Sakura came back with several other girls that were all carrying various items. Hey Haku, let me introduce Ino, Hinata, and Tenten, my genin friends. And gals, this is Haku, the girl I was telling you about. Sakura introduced everyone to each other. Yeah, they are friends in this now. I mean, how do the teams never meet? It just seems a bit ridiculous that they never do. Plus, Ino and Sakura are friends, just rivals really. Hello, I was just getting home. So, do you wish to come in? Haku asked a bit awkwardly, seeing as she never really had any female friends, or any friends before. Still, they all walked up to the door and found Naruto's note. What is this? Haku mumbled curiously, then quickly read through it. So, what is the note about? Ino asked, being her normal curious self. Oh, it is just a message from Naruto telling me that he won't be home for a while. Haku told them. Wait, why does Naruto-kun have to tell you this? Hinata asked, no longer stuttering now that she is fully focused on surpassing her new rival, and because no one from her clan or Naruto were around to get her nervous. Oh, well, he lives right next door and I was making meals for both of us, so I guess he told me so that I wouldn't make more food than I need to. Haku told them with a small shrug. Course with that they all walked into Haku's apartment, looked around and quickly noticed the hole in the wall. Don't feel like describing her apartment, so just think of it as looking a lot like how Naruto's does, just neater and with more of a female's touch. Actually, both of their apartments are clean now, seeing as Haku became Naruto's maid even though he doesn't want her to be one. Hey Haku, Naruto's apartment is to the left of yours, right? Ten asked, getting a simple nod as a response. Well then, why and who made a hole connecting yours to his? She continued, pointing at the hole. Well, I did it so he can enter my apartment at any time without having to deal with worrying about my door being locked. Haku responded, failing to see why they had a problem with it. Why would you do that? Aren't you afraid that he will do something to you? I mean, sure, he is a nice guy, but still he is a guy, and like my mother always tells me, they have a one-track mind. Sakura asked in disbelief. So, I mean, he is my master even if he doesn't want to be called that, so having that there allows him to quickly go and get me if he ever needs something. Haku tells them, shocking them even more. Haku-chan, my friend, we really have to work on your confidence if you really think that you need him to boss you around. Ino told her, putting a hand on the girl's shoulder. Now this of course wasn't the real reason Haku wanted Naruto as her master, but she chose to not push the fact. Course after that they all just enjoyed the night together, even Haku, who got used to the idea of having friends. Plus later on. So, who wants to look around Naruto's half? Ino asked, deciding to be nosy. Course this just made her companions curious as to what Ino was thinking, while Hinata was blushing a bit about the idea of being in Naruto's home. Ino, why do you want to go into Naruto's room? Sakura asked the nosy girl. What? I mean, Naruto is always friendly and everything, but we don't really know anything about him. So, this is a perfect time to figure out more about him without actually having to ask him, and maybe find some juicy secrets. Ino explained, causing the other girls to get curious as well while she muttered the last part to herself. She is right, I mean he is my teammate but yet I know nothing about him. Maybe this is a good time for me to learn more about him. Sakura thought, then quickly followed Ino into Naruto's apartment. Course they didn't have to look long to figure out that Naruto really didn't have much in his house at all. The only thing they found of any interest was a scroll that was just carelessly thrown onto his bed. Now let's see what we got here. Ino told them, then sat down on Naruto's bed and opened the scroll. Due to Naruto Uzumaki being the last of the Uzumaki clan, it has been decided that he must take part in the clan restoration program, otherwise known as CRA or Clan Restoration Act. So, Naruto must take several wives and must impregnate at least one of them when they become able to safely give birth around the age of 16. Now the number of wives is completely up to the person, though he has to have at least 2 before he himself is 16. If he doesn't, then the council will pick 2 girls to be put with him. Course the girls still have some choice. The person under this act can't simply run around forcing girls to marry him. There must be acceptance of the marriage from both sides for it to be legal, unless the council was the cause of the marriage. Now this is of importance, for the Naruto's bloodline of chakra molding must be reproduced. For the ability to do so, and the abilities of the Uzumaki could create stronger ninjas for Konoha's future. Decided by the Hokage and his council. And then under that was a bunch of signatures making it official. Course after reading this out loud, all the girls were shocked to say the least. Wait, so that this is basically saying that Naruto-kun can marry as many girls as he wants because he has a bloodline. Wait, Naruto has a bloodline? Sakura asks, even more shocked. Yeah, I know I don't really have any idea what Naruto's chakra molding bloodline is about, but what I really want to know is exactly how long Naruto had this on him and what he plans to do with it. Ino told them, a bit annoyed with the fact that even her dad agreed with this perverseness. Wait, doesn't that mean that Sasuke has this on him as well? Sakura asks, just realizing that he was the one of the last members of his clan for years now. Yeah, it does. So, he could have had any girl he wanted, but yet he still never accepted any of his fangirls. Maybe he goes the other way. I mean, what guy wouldn't at least date girls when he knows that he can have as many as he wants? Ino asked them. No, you don't have to worry about him being gay, because he came over earlier to order me to be his first girl, but I just shut the door in his face, seeing as I have no interest in a cocky boy like him. Haku told them, not noticing the envious glares coming from Sakura and Ino. Course this whole time they were talking, Hinata was busy thinking about other things. Wait, so I have more of a chance now to get Naruto now, or do I? I mean, will father let me marry a guy who has more than one girl? Man, I hope so. I mean, I still love him even though he wouldn't only be mine. Though would I actually be able to share my Naruto-kun with others? Hinata thought, blushing. Course it was at this time that they were all shocked to hear Naruto's front door open. Well, I guess Naruto is home. Haku told them simply. Yay, well, let's just wait for him here. I want to hear some more about this CRA and bloodline business. Ino told the girl and just stared at the door, waiting for Naruto to come in. Haku-chan, I am home. They heard Naruto yell out, then heard him walk towards them. Man, this stuff is really hard to learn. No wonder all of these clan jutsus are ranked so high. I mean, the only thing that came almost naturally to me were chains. Though I wonder why. Naruto mumbled as he walked through the house, then quickly opened the door to his room and was surprised to see several girls in his room. Hello, Naruto awkwardly muttered, unsure what they were doing in his room. Course all of the girls were momentarily left shocked as they looked at Naruto, for this was the first time they all saw him without his jacket and were shocked about how good he looked. For Naruto had a perfect body thanks to his career, but now that he was actually showing it, he actually looked good to them. Though the shock quickly wore off and Ino decided to ask her questions while ignoring the blonde's confusion. So, Naruto, since when did you get this CRA thing put on you? Ino asked him, glaring a little bit. Well, the council just put me on it today because of the bloodline I just activated for the first time in the Wave Village. Though I don't know why they gave it to me. I mean, it's not like I will ever use it. I mean, I am pretty sure no one even likes me more than friends, Naruto told them, laughing a bit nervously. Besides, I doubt any girl will like me anymore with my special problem, even if they did. Naruto mumbled subconsciously, putting his hand over where he knew the seal was. Why? What is wrong with you? Ino asked, seeing as she heard the last part. Oh, Naruto began, not really sure what to say as a believable lie. Though he was saved by Sakura. Naruto, don't worry, I doubt any girl would have any problem with you even though if you have a chakra problem. She told him, trying to be nice. Oh yay. I mean, thanks Sakura-chan. Now if you all could please leave my room so I can go to sleep. Actually, why are you in here anyways? Naruto asked, now curious himself. Well, we were just looking around Haku's apartment and wandered into here and she just told us it was yours right before you came home. Ino quickly lied, not wanting Naruto to know that they were poking around through his stuff. Okay then, I guess. Good night then. Naruto told them, then watched them walk out of his room and quickly lied down on his bed and fell asleep, seeing as he exhausted himself with all his training. Girls. After they all left Naruto's room, they all quickly went back into Haku's room where their sleeping stuff was and lied down themselves. Well, that was interesting. Sakura told them. Yeah, it was, though there was one problem with what we learned, Ino responded. What do you mean? Sakura asked, confused, seeing as Naruto didn't seem to mind telling them anything. He lied. What? No way, Naruto doesn't lie. Sakura, I hate to tell you, but I was using one of the easier techniques of my clan teaches without him noticing. This jutsu shows brainwaves so that we can tell if people are lying or not. And Naruto lied when he told us about this sickness of his. Well then maybe we should just observe Naruto for a bit to see if he will tell us when he doesn't know we are there or something, I guess. I mean, you are right, Naruto seems to be a mystery even though he seems friendly. Sakura finished up. Yeah, I guess we will have to. Anyways, we have things to do tomorrow, so good night everyone. Ino told them all, then tried to fall asleep after hearing them all say it back to each other. Naruto-kun, even if you are hiding things, I still love you and I will find a way to show you that there is someone that loves you, even if you do have to have more than wife. I will always love you even if my father disapproves. Hinata thought, determined, then fell asleep herself. It was finally the day of Team 7's next meeting, though it wasn't scheduled until the afternoon, so Naruto decided to actually go shopping instead of training for his last bit of free time. Though he wasn't going just to buy weapons or something, instead he was going for what was called an advanced genin's uniform for the Uzumaki clan. So, when he showed up at the meeting a little bit late, he was wearing all black with a dark blue jacket that looked like a chunin's, except it was much thinner and only had 2 pockets on the side about the size of his hand that had storage seals inside of the pocket. On his back was his mother's katana, which was a blood red sword with the even darker color red on the sheath. It was also a bit longer than a normal katana. Though what surprised them the most was the fact that instead of Naruto's normal headband there was an Uzumaki whirlpool. Meanwhile, the Konoha headband was wrapped on his right arm. Also, he decided to not hide his eyes, leaving them as slightly intimidating whirlpools. He was making a statement that the Uzumaki clan has returned and it is not afraid to show the world where it was. Of course, this change surprised his team for a few moments, then they all had different reactions. Kakashi was smiling, knowing that his parents would be proud of the ninja Naruto was becoming. Sakura was blushing slightly now that Naruto's look doesn't hide his muscle or wear a hideous orange outfit. Meanwhile, Sasuke was thinking that since Naruto was once Adobe, he shall forever be called Adobe. Sorry I am late, Kakashi-sensei, I had to waste time explaining why I wanted this new headband. Anyways, what are we doing today? Naruto asked him as he walked over to them and sat down on the edge of the bridge like his teammates were. Of course, Kakashi was surprised by Naruto's newfound professionalism, though he could still see a spark of mischief in the teen's eyes. Naruto, you may be a bit stronger and probably know a bit more, but you still have a lot to learn. Plus, no matter what, you still are the same old Naruto at heart, Kakashi thought happily. Well, we are going to be training harder than ever for the next few days. Kakashi told them, then they all quickly left for their training field. Training field. Okay then, let's start off on your basic problems in chakra. Naruto and Sasuke, you two have plenty of chakra but not much control, so you two will be trying to walk on water with the help of one of my clones. Meanwhile, Sakura, you have almost perfect control but less chakra, so we be doing some basic jutsus till you run out of most of your chakra to try and build up your reserves as much as possible. Okay then let's get to work. Kakashi told the group, who quickly went to work. Naruto, Sasuke, clone underscore. Okay, so the basic of water walking is that you want to focus the chakra to your feet like you did with tree walking, but with this you must constantly pump chakra into the water and basically floating on your chakra. Now this is for people with a decent amount of chakra only, seeing as it takes quite a bit of chakra to actually stay on top of the water. Anyways, the challenge of this is the fact that the water always is moving, so you must change the amount of chakra focused onto each part of your foot. Now instead of listening to me, try and learn it through trial and error while I read my book. The clone told them, then happy and sat down under the shade of a nearby tree with while Sasuke and Naruto go to work. This is going to take ages, Naruto though remembering how long it took for him to figure out tree walking. Wait, maybe I can use this to see how much my shadow clones actually help in training. I mean, by what I just read I should be able to get my shadow clones memories, but I have never actually tried it yet. Naruto thought, then quickly put his hand into the shadow clones cross seal and created 10 clones to work on the water walking with him. Course when Kakashi's clone saw this, he simply took slight interest in it for a moment, then simply returned to his book. So, Naruto finally figured out the secret of the shadow clones. Was all Kakashi thought of Naruto's newfound idea. What is that baka doing? Will those clones actually help him learn this? If so, I really need to learn that jutsu. Something like that would make my goals much easier to achieve, and it should be easy for me, a great Uchiha, to learn. After all, the Dobi was able to get it figured out. Sasuke thought, then quickly tried to walk on water only to fall into it seconds later. Sakura. I need to make sure that I can catch up to those two so I am not as useless as I was in the wave. Besides, something tells me that Kakashi is hiding something important and dangerous from us, if only I could figure out what it is. Sakura though, as she practiced a basic jutsu for the umpteenth time. Will these guys be ready for the exam? I mean, they will be possibly deadly, and I would prefer for the first team I pass in years to not die due to the stupid civilian council pestering as to make Sasuke a higher rank. I mean, really all they want to do probably is to make him a clan head that really is just a breeding stock for our so-called best clan bloodline, by their standards anyways. Kakashi thought sadly as he looked at Sakura, who was trying her hardest to build up her chakra amount. Plus, after training Sakura was extremely exhausted now. After spending a good hour of practicing, she now only had enough chakra to survive on and had already ate the daily maximum amount of soldier pills she could, so basically, she had to wait for her body to naturally replenish her coils to do any more. So, she quickly went back home to sleep off some of her exhaustion. Course that was short-lived, seeing as only after an hour or so of sleeping she was woken up by her mother telling her Ino was there, making her walk downstairs to see what her friend wanted. What is it, Ino? Sakura asked the blonde, still tired. Hi, Sakura, I was wondering if you wanted to. Whoa. What happened to you? Ino asked happily, then noticed that she seemed exhausted. Sensei is now focusing on increasing our training for some reason, so I had to work on building up my chakra, and by doing so I barely have enough just to stay awake. Sakura told her, leaning on the doorway slightly. Oh, well, maybe you should get some rest. I was just going to ask if you want to try and figure out what Naruto is hiding, but since you are tired I guess you could just stay home and relax while we figure out the mystery. Ino told her, then began to walk away. I know I should be resting to restore my chakra quicker, but I really want to know what my teammate is hiding from me. I mean, we are a team, so there shouldn't be secrets being held from each other, right? I mean, who can we trust if we don't even trust each other? So, should I relax or figure out what Konoha's goofball is hiding from us, or relax, which I can do later as well? Sakura quickly thought it over, then quickly ran after Ino, telling her mother she was going out for a bit. Okay then, fine, I will admit that I am curious. Now, what is the plan? Sakura asked when she finally caught up with her. Well, basically I saw that Naruto was heading towards another training field, so we are going to get Hinata quickly, then are going to see if he shows any of his secrets when he thinks he is alone. Ino told her, while walking towards the Hyuga compound. What, that is all you could think of? Sakura asks in disbelief. Well, it is the only thing we really can do. Unless you want to ask him. Ino tells her defensively. And really she was right, each place Naruto went he went so often that they would keep his secrets for him out of friendship. Sigh. Fine, let's go get Hinata and hopefully we actually learn something. Sakura told her, then finally reached the clan's gate. Why are you here? The guards asked them respectfully. We are wondering if Hinata was home so that we can hang out with her. Ino told the guards. We are sorry, but she left quite a while ago and has yet to return. The guards tell them and they quickly thank the man for the information before leaving the area. Okay, then let's just go and observe him anyways. Ino asked Sakura, then they both quickly went to where Ino last saw Naruto. Course, when they finally got to the training field Naruto went to, which was basically just an average one with several wooden posts for punching, lots of trees, a small river, and even a few boulders placed randomly about. Though what surprised them was the fact that hiding inside of a bush was Hinata, who was using her bloodline and kept focused on Naruto. She was so focused in just watching him that she even failed to notice that Ino and Sakura were coming closer to her until they were right next to her. Hey Hinata, how did you know that we planned to try and see any of his secrets by watching him? Ino asks, curious, then notices that Hinata quickly started blushing after she got over the surprise of being caught. Oh, so you didn't know You were just watching because you have a crush on him and want to see his body Who knew Hinata was a pervert? Ino asks with a smile plastered on her face. No, IWW was just walking around when I saw saw NN Naruto training, so I decided to come see his bloodline. Hinata tells them, trying to hide her crush on the blonde boy but failed, seeing as the large blush she had never left her face. Right Hinata, we believe you. Ino tells the girl sarcastically, then sits down next to her. Well, anyways, we came here to try and figure out his secrets, so we might as well sit down and watch as well for a bit. She finishes with a small shrug, then Sakura soon sat down on the other side of Hinata. Course, when they finally looked back at Naruto, he was standing by a river again like he was when Kiba saw him originally, though instead of just having a small swirl of water being seen, there was a large obvious whirlpool that started to rise up from the river, creating a small tower of swirling water in front of Naruto. Naruto then brought his hands up closer to his head and the funnel rose up at the same time until the whirlpool was pointing at a tree on the other side of the river. So, after that was done, Naruto throws his hands like he was actually throwing something in the direction of the tree while calling out, raging whirlpool pierce. And of course, the whirlpool began to move at the tree, though it started to shake as Naruto lost control of it, and soon it all fell back down to the ground, causing a large splash of water to hit Naruto, soaking him completely. Damn it, I was so close this time. Naruto yells in frustration, then walked over to a stone that was stuck halfway into the river but was still heated up by the sun, even if it was getting close to the end of the day. When he got there, he quickly began to shed his wet clothes, starting with all of his shirt and jacket, and placed them on the stone to dry, then began to reach for the rim of his pants. Course, when he did this, the girls all started to blush watching the unknowing boy strip in front of them, though for some reason they couldn't stop looking and began to blush even more when they saw that Naruto was now only wearing a pair of dark green briefs. But their view of them were blocked by Naruto's legs when he sat down with his legs crossed in a meditative stance, confusing the girls. Wait, since when has Naruto ever sat down to think about something? Ino and Sakura quickly thought, confused. Course, Hinata was thinking about other things. Why is he sitting down? Shouldn't he be taking of his wet briefs as well? Hinata asked herself, wanting to see him naked. After all, when she tried to look through his clothes to see every inch of her love's body, all she got to see was his chakra coils. Something that made her curse said eyesight a bit for not having such a practical use. For it was an unknown fact that all of the Hyuga clan were perverts, and that is why they also all learned all of the required school-taught jutsus. For they didn't want people to know that, they really only wanted to know the henge jutsu so they could hide their clan's secret even when they go to buy their Ikea books. They even went as far to put permanent genjutsus on the books so that they look like normal books for when they are out on missions or in public. And Hinata was no different, for she had ever Ikea book published. Thought the only difference was that she replaced the main guy and girl's names with Naruto and her own names. The only problem with their eyes for them was the fact that each time they tried to see through clothes they could only see the chakra coils. Though back with Naruto he had put up his hands into a tiger seal, focusing his chakra so much that even people without the Bakugan could see blue swirls of chakra soon go around Naruto. He then tensed up and all of the chakra was focused onto his back, where two chakra lines were starting to grow a few feet, looking almost like the beginning of wings. Course his control wasn't that good yet, so that was about as far as he could go at the moment, but he still held the chakra there, trying to increase the size of them, sweating a bit due to the effort. So this is what it means to have a chakra molding bloodline. Ino whispered, shocked by the fact that she could see the dense blue wing-like structures even though he was a decent bit away from them. Yeah, wait, what is up with the seal on his stomach? Sakura asks, confused, shocking both Ino and Hinata out of their shocked, perverted trances. And of course, when they looked, they did in fact see a giant seal that was covering all of Naruto's abs. It was an interact seal which had a swirl that started at his belly button, surrounded by a bunch of strange symbols that formed several points. What is that seal? Does Forehead Girl know what it is? Ino asks, using her nickname for her rival. Well, Ino Pig, I can't really tell you, seeing as I have never thought about even trying to understand seals. I mean, they never are really used by too many people. But that has to be an important one for it to seem that big and detailed. Sakura tells them. Then perhaps we should look it up at the library, it might have a book on seals or something we can look at. Hinata suggested, curious about it as well. And with that they simply focused back onto what Naruto was doing, though when they looked he was already putting his now dry cloths, apparently done for the moment. Course he was then walking in their direction without even knowing they were there, mumbling something about needing ramen. Well, Naruto's addiction to ramen will never change. All three of them couldn't help but think after they heard this, but soon they left as well, heading to the library to figure out why Naruto had that strange seal on his stomach. Course they didn't even notice that they had two people watching them. For Kurenai and Kakashi were both hiding in the trees a little way behind where they once were. Well, it seems that those three girls are on their way to figure out Naruto's problem, Kakashi tells her simply. Yes, it does. Now I am pretty sure that won't affect Hinata's opinion of him, seeing as she already thinks that they are destined to be with each other. Though I have no idea how the other two will react. Kurenai tells him in a bored tone. Yeah, that damn fox is going to make the council's decision even more troublesome. I mean, knowing Naruto, he will have to tell people he tries to get close to, which might ruin a few relationships. Kakashi tells her, now reaching for his book until the known pervert hater gave him a glare. I don't even know why they have that. I mean, it is practically telling guys to have a harem. I feel so bad for the girls, really. Kurenai tells him, remembering how they tried to force Minato to be put into CRA just so that more people could use his jutsus. After all, he told the civilian council that only his family members could use them. Now when Kushina heard that, she of course was worried and stressed about what Minato would do, until the man basically told the council to fuck off. Something he should have done in the first place, instead of just telling the idiots that run the civilian council no that he had no desire to teach anyone. Still, their part of the council still tried to force him until he used his power as a cage to put them in their place. And according to the rumors, warned them that he would let Kushina handle their complaints if they started again. Something that made them pale, seeing as she was known to be even more dangerous than normal when enraged. Course this just made Kakashi laugh a bit. Well, seeing as they have a choice whether they want to go through with it or not. I think they are happy enough even though they have to share. Though with Naruto I am sure he will make each girl feel loved no matter how many he ends up with. Kakashi tells her, then goes away, leaving her to her thoughts. Library. Ino and Hinata were sitting a chair apart from each other, calmly waiting for a few moments until Sakura came and sat between them while setting a few books on the table. Okay, then these are all of the books on seals that are in the library. Sakura tells them. What, that is all there is? Ino asks, shocked that their library that was one of the most extensive in the world. Afraid so. You see, sealing is a hard art to learn, and those who learn it want to keep their personal seals private, so not too many books are out for public reading, especially since most villages don't want to give rare information like this to different villages. Sakura tells them. After that they all begin reading and quickly find that most of the information in the books was stuff that made no sense to them. Though from what they could understand it seemed most of the books were only about becoming a beginner at the art rather than giving them a way to look up the interact seal they saw on Naruto. So what are we going to do now? It is not like we have anywhere else to look. Ino complains and all three of them agreed that they hit a dead end, so they all walked off towards the entrance of the library to leave until they saw someone familiar. Hey Haku-san, Hinata tells the girl nicely, though she seemed to glare slightly at Haku. Oh, hello there. What are you guys doing here? Haku asked curiously after closing the book she was skimming through. Hello Haku, we were just looking for a book to try and figure out what this seal is. Ino tells her, a bit upset about the fact they failed but still held out the copy of the Naruto seal that they managed to roughly draw on a piece of paper. Though when they tried to activate it they did nothing but waste their chakra thanks to not using the proper ink and because the seal was sloppy compared to the real deal. Yes, I know what the seal is and how people get it, don't message me saying that is not how the Shiki Fujin works. We all know it, but at the time the girls didn't know it. Well, how about you come over to my apartment again? I think I remember seeing a seal like this in one of Naruto's scrolls. Haku tells them, shocking the other girls. What? Why would Naruto have information on seals? Ino asked the ice user, shocked, but Haku couldn't answer them. Still went to Naruto's side of the apartment to see if Haku was right. Apartment. Now where did that scroll go? Haku asks herself while looking through the small number of scrolls Naruto had. Hey Haku, what were you looking for at the library anyways? And come to think about it, why did you look through Naruto's scrolls as well? She asked curiously. After all, most people didn't spend all that much time at the library, or were curious enough to go through other people's stuff. Oh, well, I never really cooked too much food, seeing as for most of my life we were camping or on the move. So, I don't have too many recipes to cook. So, I decided to see if Naruto had any books on the subject, only to sadly see that he didn't. So, instead I went to the library to study up on various recipes that looked interesting. Though you guys managed to come find me before I found a book I wanted to borrow, but I'll just get it tomorrow or something. Haku tells them, not too concerned seeing as Naruto was happy enough with the meals she could currently make. Oh, here it is. She continues happily, holding out a small scroll. Ah, thank you Haku-chan. Now let's see what this has to tell us. Sakura tells them, then opens the scroll up. My seal that I found in Forbidden Scroll. Image of Naruto's seal done crudely again. What scroll said? The Shiki Fujin is a seal used to seal up the very soul of whatever you use it on. Though there is a price. For when it is sealed you will also seal your own soul to hell as well. Now the strength of this seal is based of your willpower and theirs. So that is why this is a forbidden jutsu. Now the most common use of this seal is to seal the biju into a young child to make a human sacrifice or jinchuriki to increase the village's strength. Sakura reads out loud, which shocked all of the girls present. Wait, this seal stops demons by locking them inside of people. And didn't a few villages call Naruto demon for some reason? So, does that mean that he has some monster inside of him? Sakura asks the group, not sure what to think at the moment. After all, the information seems far less believable than anything she imagined to find. I don't know, but I think we all know what we should do. Ino tells them, course they didn't understand at all. What? Hinata asks her, trying to figure out what the blonde was thinking. We should go talk to Naruto again and get him to explain this. I mean, he might as well tell us the rest of the secret. And if he doesn't, we could always pester him till he does. She tells them, and of course Sakura quickly agrees with her, though Hinata seemed unsure and Haku chose not to state her opinion. Though they all did end up sitting down with drinks and snacks as they all waited for Naruto to come home. Geez, we really seem to focus on Naruto lately, Ino thought to herself as she looked at the door, hoping that he would show up soon. And luckily he did end up coming back rather quickly and was surprised to see the girls yet again waiting for him. Hey, I am home. Hi girls, what can I do for you, again? Naruto asks awkwardly, trying to figure out what they were doing waiting for him yet again. Hey Naruto, we were just wondering if you know anything about a seal called the Shiki Fujin. Sakura tells him, and Naruto visibly pales. Sorry Sakura, but I have no idea what the Shiki, that seal is. Naruto lies to them, far too nervous to speak straight. Oh, no. Ino asks him, raising one of her eyebrows. Then why do you have a scroll on it that says that it is your seal? She asks him with a knowing smirk. Ooh, that seal. Naruto tells them, trying to make it seem like he just remembered it. Yeah, I saw it when I looked through a scroll and thought I saw it before, so I copied it down to look for the seal later. Naruto tries to lie to them, though they would have none of that. Naruto-kun, we saw the seal. I mean, when we were going to get you for a group lunch, it was painted onto your stomach, and of course we were too shocked at seeing it, so we forgot to tell you. It is not like we were watching you train or anything. Hinata tells him, blushing at nearly revealing one of her favorite pastimes. Oh, was all Naruto could say, clearly depressed. So, how much do you know? He asked them, his voice sadder than they ever heard it before. Well, not much, tell you the truth. We only know what people could use it for. The rest we are counting on you to truefullly tell us what it did to you. Ino tells the boy, who simply let out a small sigh. Fine, though, just remember that this is supposed to be a double S secret of the village, with the only people allowed to talk about it being Gigi and me. Naruto tells them, completely serious for once. Course, after he said this, he waited for them all to nod, showing that they understood what he was saying. Okay, then let me start with the biggest shocker then. You see, the fourth didn't actually kill the Kyuubi, for you can't kill a beast made from pure chakra. So, instead he did the next best thing. He used his own life to seal the beast away in one of the only newborn babies in the village, me. Naruto tells them, getting a shocked gasps from them. And by doing this he created what is called a Jinchuriki, which is basically a weapon that is a human ninja with the demon locked into their body. Naruto tells them, then waits for their reaction. Course, what happened was something he didn't expect. For Hinata, instead of calling him a monster or trying to kill him, instead launched herself at him, giving a bear hug while crying a bit. Naruto, I had no idea how bad your life has been. I should have came to help you out sooner. I am so sorry, Naruto-kun. Hinata told her, still crying on his chest. It is okay, Hinata-chan, no need to cry. Naruto told her, awkwardly trying to calm the girl down, but had no real idea how to do so. Course, she eventually calmed down enough so that she was only sniffling, but still let go of Naruto with a small blush as she told him sorry. Course, the other girls' reactions weren't nearly as extreme, for Haku didn't seem to care still, while Ino and Sakura seemed to be thinking about something. Oh, well, he is still my kind master, Haku thinks to herself with a small mental shrug. So Naruto has a demon locked away inside of him, and that is why the village hates him. But why do they when it is sealed inside of him? I need to think about this some more. Both of Ino and Sakura thought, not deciding to pick their opinion on what they just learned just yet. So, they decided to remain neutral for the moment. Man, Naruto, you gave us a lot to think about. I think we are going home to think for a while, Sakura tells Naruto, for both of them then left, leaving Naruto with Haku and the still sniffling Hinata. Okay then, bye, Naruto told them as they left, not showing any emotions. I really hope they don't end up hating me. I mean, they are some of my only friends in this village. Naruto thinks to himself, sad, then turned to the two other girls in his room. Only to find out that Hinata somehow fell asleep and was now lying down on the floor sleeping peacefully. Course, seeing as it was already around 10 and she had to have had an exhausting day both physically and mentally, he figured it would be best not to wake her up at the moment. Sigh. Well, I guess we should get some rest as well, Naruto tells Haku, then gently picks up Hinata, bringing her to his bedroom. Naruto-sama, are you really planning to take advantage of this sleeping girl? Haku asked, curious as she walked near him but not trying to stop him yet. What? No. Get your mind out of gutter, Haku-chan. Naruto told her, blushing a bit at the idea. I am letting her take my bed while I sleep on the couch. He then explained, putting Hinata gently down on the soft mattress. He then gently brought the blankets over the still fully clothed girl until only her head showed, and moved back until he was at the door to the bedroom. Good night, Hinata-chan. Naruto simply told the sleeping girl, then turned the lights off and went to the living room on his side with Haku still following him. So, now that they know, what are you going to do? Haku asks the boy, curious. I don't know, Haku-chan, I just don't know. Naruto told her, clearly stressed out. Well, just think about it after resting for a bit. I mean, you will get nowhere trying to figure it out tired. So, good night, Naruto-sama. Haku told him, then began to walk to her side, hearing Naruto mumble out good night back to her as he put a few blankets on the couch to get comfortable. Life sure will be different now that the wave mission is done, was Naruto's last thought before he let himself fall into the darkness that is called sleeping. Hinata was sleeping peacefully when a few rays of the new morning light fell onto her face, waking the girl up. Dumb son, why did you have to come so soon? I mean, this is the softest my bed has felt in ages. Wait, I don't even remember leaving Naruto's home, Hinata thought, then opened her eyes only to notice that she wasn't in her room. Which of course worried her for a few moments until she realized that it was Naruto's room, and instead, she just started to blush, trying to remember if anything happened to cause her to end up on Naruto's bed. All I remember is crying into Naruto's muscular chest, which I guess must have tired me out so much that I fell asleep right there in his arms. So, I guess he must have put me here. Though the question is, where did he go after that, seeing as I doubt my Naruto-kun would actually try something on me when I am asleep. So, he probably just went to be somewhere else. Hinata began to think with complete trust in Naruto. And after she figured out that she was safe and in her love's home, she began to let her more perverted side come out. So, she quickly buried her face into Naruto's pillow and breathed in deeply, inhaling Naruto's scent that had been completely absorbed into the very fibers of the pillow. Ah, today really is starting off good. Actually maybe Naruto wouldn't notice if I borrow a few pieces of clothing and such to remember this day by. I just need to make sure that it smells like him. Maybe I am being a bit too fangirlish doing this though. Actually, no, that doesn't matter, seeing as Naruto liked that pink banshee that was one of Sasuke's biggest fan girls, so he must like girls like that. Though I can't really do it in public. I mean, not only would the clan kill me for it, but it would just be too embarrassing for me to actually do. Hinata thought, deciding that Naruto had to like girls that were at least partially stalkerish to have a crush on a fangirl. So, she only left the room after she hid several pieces of Naruto's old orange clothing in a small storage seal she paid one of Konoha's seal makers to put on the back of her forehead protector. So glad I added that, Hinata though, with a smile as she played with her headband while walking into the living room where she saw Naruto's feet hanging off of the couch. So, she quickly walked over to him and was about to tell him good morning until she noticed that he was still sleeping peacefully with an arm and leg hanging off the couch as he softly snored. Ah, Naruto looks so cute sleeping. Wait, he is sleeping. I should take this chance to finally kiss him. I mean, even if he doesn't like me back, I can just hopefully take his first kiss and give him mine without anyone ever knowing it is perfect. Hinata thought happily, then blushed as she slowly moved her head down to Naruto's, taking every precaution to make sure he doesn't wake up. Soon enough, she was only a few inches from Naruto's face, with her hair now blocking anyone who walked in view of Naruto's face. And soon enough, she was just about to touch her lips to his, and the distance shortened by the second. 5 inches. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hinata's eyes were now closed, enjoying the feeling of Naruto's hot breath on her lips, and was just about to feel his lips on hers. Naruto, breakfast is ready. Haku yelled down the hall, shocking Hinata into jumping away from Naruto and also woke Naruto up from his slumber. Coming, Haku-chan. Naruto mumbled as he was still waking up, then he noticed Hinata was standing a little way away from him. Oh, hi Hinata, I hope you don't mind the fact that I didn't wake you up last night. You were just sleeping far too peacefully. Naruto told the girl, rubbing the back of his head a bit at the same time. It is fine, Naruto-kun, Hinata stuttered out quietly, still blushing about what she nearly did. Course Naruto didn't notice this, seeing as he was already walking towards his breakfast, clearly expecting Hinata to follow without having to say it. Course said girl just stood there for a few more seconds trying to get her blush under control. Stupid breakfast, I was so close. Hinata mumbled under her breath, then followed Naruto to where Haku was patiently waiting by a table covered with pancakes, eggs, and bacon. Ah, Haku-chan, it looks as delicious as ever. Naruto told the ice user. You really are one of the best cooks I know. Naruto added while sitting down in an empty chair, causing the girl to blush slightly, though it went unnoticed by the others. And soon they all sat down to enjoy the great breakfast that Haku created for the three of them. So, Haku-san, how is your medical career going? Hinata asked after eating a small amount of eggs. It is pretty good. I mean, I start to actually work in the field today in about an hour, and if all goes well, I should start training to become a medical ninja within the month, according to the hospital director. Though I think that Hokage-sama is speeding this up a bit because Naruto-sama trusts me. Course even that won't help the fact that I am not allowed out of the village for several months, but that is understandable to make sure the village stays safe. Haku told her after eating a chunk of one of her pancakes. Wait, why would Gigi do that? Only because of me? And stop calling me Sama, Naruto asked, then ordered her, still disliking the girl's idea that he owned her. Naruto-sama, you are one of his beloved people in this village, so he likes to help you and your trusted people by doing what he can without angering the council. Haku told a still confused Naruto. After all, she was fully aware that at any other time she would surely be under heavy watch or even worse treatment for several months if this was a normal situation. What? So, I am taking advantage of Gigi? Naruto asked her, holding his head in shock. Course Haku and Hinata giggled a bit at this reaction. No, Naruto-kun, she means that Hokage-sama just wants to help you by giving you and your friend every chance he can give them without showing too much favoritism. Though as for why he does it, he probably thinks of you like one of his family members, seeing as you make his life that much more interesting. Hinata explained, though Naruto seemed to still be confused. Though he didn't ask on it again, seeing as he doubted he could understand even with another explanation. So, he just kept eating while half listening to Haku, who was talking about the training she had to do to become a registered healer and about various herbs and creams used for healing various things, with Hinata, who seemed to have an interest with the subject. Though for Naruto all of what they were talking about was completely out of his range of understanding. Still, he chose to not interrupt them to explain things. After all, even then he doubted that any of the ensuing lecture would be understood either. Eventually, though, they all ate their food and went their separate ways. Haku went to the hospital to start her job, Hinata went home to change and then to her team meeting, and Naruto went out to train for a bit before his own meeting started. In Naruto's case, he was happy to have his normal training routine clear his head from the medical conversation he just sat through. Hinata was really nice to me yesterday, and today, come to think of it, she always is nice to me. I mean, she never hits me, calls me names, or even yells at me. And she even hugged me after telling my secret. She has to be one of the nicest people I know, and one of the most beautiful. Wait, where did that come from? Naruto asked himself and stopped training to rest his chin on his hand in a thinking position. I guess I need to think about this more. I mean, it is obvious that I have somehow created some feelings for Hinata-chan. But I am not sure how strong those feelings truly are. I really don't want to make a mistake that will make me ruin an amazing friendship in the future. Naruto mumbled out loud, thinking he was alone, then quickly left the training field to meet his team at the bridge yet again. If he stayed, he would have noticed that Kurenai decided to come out of her hiding spot relatively close to the blonde. Naruto, if you break Hinata's heart, I will break you. She, though evilly unintentionally releasing a small amount of Ki, then poofed out of existence, showing that she was just a shadow clone the whole time. Course, due to Kurenai being focused on the safety of the girl she thought of as a younger sister, she failed to notice that Kakashi was hidden behind her the whole time. Naruto, you better be careful or you might learn why Kurenai is known to be one of the most dangerous women in Konoha. Kakashi thought, worried about his sensei's son. He then sent a quick prayer to whatever god would listen for the boy to stay safe from Kurenai, for the off chance a greater being would listen to those that don't believe in them normally. Normally he wouldn't have even bothered trying, but Naruto needed all the help he could get if he got on Kurenai's bad side. Then again, he might not have to worry for that long, seeing as it is quite possible that he won't even survive the Chunin exams Naruto would be entering in just 2 days. A fact that always brought a frown to Kakashi's face as he worried about the first genin team he actually trained. Kurenai. Kurenai was happily talking with her team, getting ready for their training session to begin, when all of a sudden, she stiffened up and glared at the air. Sensei, what is wrong? Shino asks his normally calm teacher, surprised she looked annoyed all of a sudden. She didn't look that mad since when she first learned about Kiba's perverseness, Shino though shuddering, remembering how much Kiba screamed at the sheer horror of that genjutsu she placed on him. In fact, Shino promised himself that no matter what happened he would do everything in his power to never get on his sensei's bad side. Oh, it is nothing, just something I remembered. Now Kiba, I want you to work on your chakra control for about an hour while Shino you begin practicing your katas for the same amount of time, and we will meet back here after that for the next phase of training. Though you two will be working with my clone seeing as I have to talk to Hinata for a bit. Kurenai told the two boys who quickly went towards their redone training area while Hinata just looked up at Kurenai confused. What did you want to talk to me about, Kurenai-sensei? Hinata asks curious, making said women just sigh, then kneeled down to Hinata's height. Hinata, it has come to my attention that you like a guy that has feelings for you back, right? Kurenai asks the girl she thought of as family in all but blood. Why yes I guess why you could say that. Hinata shyly tells her, automatically thinking about Naruto and began to wonder what her teacher heard to say that he likes her back. While I am happy for you to find love, just make sure they don't force you to change or do anything you don't want to, okay? You are a great girl and you shouldn't change that, well maybe except for this shyness and lack of self-confidence problem. Kurenai tells the girl with a small smile. Please Hinata, just listen to me on this, and I ask you not as your teacher but as your friend. She finished up and was surprised by the fact that Hinata gave her a quick hug after making sure the other team members couldn't see. Yes I will, Kurenai ni, and I know we are supposed to keep this professional, but ever since mother died you have been the only female that I really could talk to, so I will always listen to you. Hinata tells her, then quickly moves a few feet away from Kurenai, who smiled at this. Sure. Now then let's get you ready to learn a bit more about your clan jutsu using the scrolls you were given. Kurenai tells her, then they both go to where Shino and Kiba were training and also worked their hardest to improve. Naruto, is it true? Could Kurenai really have heard that you like me? Was Hinata's last thought before she began to work on her rotation defense jutsu while stuff was thrown at her by Kurenai. Plus Team 7 plus. Kakashi happily walked towards his students an hour late as usual, only to tell them that they were running around all of the training grounds to test their stamina. So, they soon found themselves running by a severely damaged training field when they heard someone coming by, hearing them scream out something that sounded like, Yosh. Though when they heard this they all looked, not noticing a green blur go past them behind their backs. So, when they finally noticed it, the blur was already near Kakashi talking to him. Yosh, how are you doing, my rival? ? Quote. The man that was the blur called out far too loudly. Course that wasn't what everyone first noticed. They all were still focused on his horrible fashion sense. A green spandex bodysuit covered slightly by bright orange leg and arm warmers, and his headband being used as a belt. Still, the weirdest part about the man was his bowl-cut hair and massive eyebrows. All in all, they all were completely creeped out by this new guy, but they were able to refocus on the conversation when Kakashi responded to the man. Hello guy. Let me introduce you to my students. This is Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke, and guys, this crazy guy is John, an instructor guy. Kakashi introduced them to each other and pointed at each one of them when he told him their name. Ah, such youthful students, let me introduce mine. Guy told them happily, then let off a loud whistle, and soon 3 teens came from the trees. Same as anime, so I am not writing down their looks, I only did guys because it seemed to fit the spot. This is Neji, Tenten, and the youthful Lee. Guy told them, pointing at each one individually as they walked up to the group. Playing favorites much, was all Naruto could think when he noticed the special treatment Lee got. He even had one of his sensei's fashion pieces on. Hey Tenten. Naruto and Sakura told the girl, who happily responded with the same thing, then noticed Naruto's sword. Naruto, where did you get that sword? Tenten asked, not showing any emotion. I found it. Naruto lied, though he still was a horrible liar. Oh, really? Tenten asked him, not believing him for a moment. Then can I see it quickly? Tenten continued to ask, holding out her hands that were soon filled with the blood-red sword, which she quickly began to examine thoroughly. After she spent several minutes just looking over the entire blade, she eventually saw very small writing on just above the hilt of the blade. May this raging whirlpool protect thy user from all that your ninja career might present you. Course, when she read this she froze for a moment, then glared at Naruto. Naruto, why do you Kushina Uzumaki's sword? She asked, not releasing her glare in the slightest. I told you I found. Naruto began to tell her, but was cut off by Tenten. Cut the crap, Naruto. I know that is a lie. For this blade was locked away as a piece of Konoha's history and can only be given to her relatives, seeing as when the blade was made they put several seals on it that make it almost as strong as one of the named blades if used by her clan. The red whirlpool is basically one of the most guarded weapons in Konoha. I will ask again, Naruto, how did you get it? Tenten asked him, keeping the blade out of Naruto's reach. Tenten, this is most unyouthful. Give Naruto-kun back his sword. Lee told her, but it somehow didn't make it seem like an order. No, I will not give this precious blade back to a maybe thief. Tenten told him, then felt an increase of ki in the area and looked over to see Naruto's eyes, which seemed to be turning a red as he glared at the girl. I may have had to steal to survive as a child, but I would never do it for personal gain if I don't have to. Naruto thought, furious that the girl would immediately accuse him, just like the other bastards in the village did. The fact that she did so after getting under his guard pained him a bit, but after daring to accuse him, he quickly destroyed any trust he held in the girl. Naruto then let a small growl pass his lips, shocking before shocking the group around him by creating a chakra hand. This chakra hand came from his foot and took advantage of the shock it caused to easily take back the blade. He then looked at his teacher without sparing the girl in front of him another glance. Kakashi-sensei, I am going to train alone with my mother's blade, so don't follow me. Naruto growled out, then left the still shocked group to go to his secret place, to vent his anger on something that wasn't human. After Naruto left, Tenten quickly remembered that Naruto had to be Kushina's son, not only because she found out at the sleepover but also because they obviously shared a last name. Though when she finally came to this conclusion, Naruto was already long gone. Remaining group equals. What is wrong with Naruto? Sakura asked her sensei, surprised that the normally happy guy could get so mad. Sakura. Naruto has had a hard life. A life that you will have to ask him about, seeing as I will not give out his life story. But even with his life being rough, he made a point to rarely steal anything from anyone. In fact, the few cases I have heard about was done purely because of necessity. So, he truly hates being called one, seeing as he never went that route even when his life was so bad, and because several people of this village constantly called him one even knowing this fact. Now normally he would just ignore the name calling, seeing as he seems to sometimes keep his real emotions locked away to everyone but his friends, but it seems Tenten had managed to lower his block a bit, but now she just wrecked her progress. I mean, it seems he trusted her a bit more than the average person, so by doing this she managed to hurt him a bit. Kakashi told them just so Tenten knew exactly what she just did. Basically, Kakashi would often be one of the ones to keep an eye on Naruto through his childhood, and he also did his research on his students. For if he was going to have students, he was going to make sure he knows about them. So, I basically gained his trust, then stepped on it. Tenten asked, feeling bad. Yes, Kakashi told the girl bluntly, then said goodbye to Guy and his team and took Sasuke and Sakura to train, knowing that Naruto would be fine by himself for a day of training. Plus, he knew that the boy would be happier alone at the moment. Team Guy. Guy quickly noticed the change of mood in the air, so he decided to refocus his group on training to get rid of it. Yosh, let's get down to work so Naruto's dedication to training doesn't overpower our youthfulness. Guy called out with Lee on his heels ready to go, while Neji and Tenten followed more slowly. Course Tenten's mind was on other things even as she hit the target's bullseye over and over again. So, I caused Naruto pain just by calling him a possible thief. Crap. That probably means that he no longer thinks of me as a friend, I bet. Though why do I care so much? I mean, I hardly know him, but yet I want to be his friend no matter what. But why? I mean, it can't be love. I love Neji with all of his strength and power. I mean, Naruto seems to be kind of strong and has a possibility to become a great ninja, and he is really kind. But, I don't like him just because of that, do I? No, it just couldn't be possible, right? Oh, well, I guess I will just have to think about this later, but for right now I will focus on trying to mend the bridge between us. Tenten thought, determined, then patiently waited for her team training session to end so she could go find Naruto. Naruto. Naruto was still fuming and quickly went to his favorite training location. Training Ground 44, the Forest of Death. Course he has been coming here for years just to escape the villagers and to calm down a bit. So, he knew how to avoid most of the stuff he couldn't handle through trial and error he did while growing up. Though he got injured quite a bit figuring that out and was lucky the larger animals thought he was too small to really be of any value as a meal. Though for right now he didn't bother going into his spot, instead he just found a tree that was only about 5 minutes from the entrance he went through and began to destroy it through his training. Though he didn't pace himself like he normally did, so he quickly was out of breath, though this lasted only for a few seconds due to the fox healing him back up to be at the top of his game no matter what in his own natural regeneration. Course what he didn't expect was to hear someone behind him call out to him. "What's up, brat?" it asked, and Naruto quickly turned to see one of the most dangerous women in Konoha, Anko the sadistic snake. As some people have come to call her, seeing as they found out why she was meant to be feared through her special torture and all of her snake-based jutsus. "Hey Anko," Naruto responded to her, loosening from his defensive stance in front of his friend. They both were very different, but they had to go through a lot of the same stuff. She was hated by people in the village due to something she had no control in, just like he was. So, when they met one day in the very forest they were in, they quickly became friends just so that neither of them would fall too far into their own depression. Course they now saw each other less now that they had other friends, but they still saw each other every now and then. For they were friends for life just because they helped each other as they tried to stay out of the darkness that was in their souls. "So, what has your panties in a bunch this time? Shouldn't you be happy with your new clan status?" Anko asked her normal blunt self while she pulled out a container of to-go dango from who knows where. "Yeah, I know, but now all those bastards that used to torture me and you are now trying to brown-nose me." "Oh, yeah, speaking of them, if you get some problems from them or something, just let me know so I can actually use the crap they try to feed me. Anyways, that's not what I am annoyed with right now. I am annoyed because one of my so-called friends called me a thief due to me having my mother's sword, which is supposed to have special properties or something." Naruto told her, remembering how annoyed he was with Tenten. "Well, that is enough about me for right now. So, tell me why you are here right now. Don't you have plans with Hana today or something?" Naruto asked her, having long since heard about Anko's group of Konoha's Ice Queens but has yet to actually see any of them except for Anko. "Oh, I am still going with Hana-chan to that new bar that opened up to party a bit, but she doesn't get off work for a while yet, so when I saw you I decided to just come over to say hi," Anko told him with one of her rare true smiles that were held only for her most trusted friends. "Ah, well, it is good to see you again. I mean, I haven't seen you since my mission to the wave," Naruto told her, returning her true smile. "Yes, I just had to come see these new eyes of yours, Naru-chan," Anko told him, walking up closer to him and looked straight into his eyes. "It makes you look fiercer and crazier. I like that," Anko told him, now practically on top of him. Thanks Anko-chan," Naruto told her, unsure how to respond while blushing due to being squished against the girl. Course after a while she backed off, laughing at his embarrassed state. "Ah, you are still so easy to tease," she eventually told him, then noticed the time by looking at the sun through the trees, not too dense, seeing is still practically at the edge. "Oh, gotta go see ya later, Naru-chan," she then quickly told him, then left, not giving Naruto a chance to speak. Course this just made Naruto chuckle a bit, now in a better mood. Wait, that was her plan, wasn't it? Oh, well, I guess I need to thank that sneaky girl yet again for putting me in a better mood. Naruto thought happily and then began to train seriously now that his mind was clearer. Though he couldn't help but wonder what the special attributes of the sword has now that Tenten made him realize the small seals that were etched onto either side of the blade. Tenten_. Tenten's group finally finished after 2 hours, though now the sun was setting, seeing as it was getting close to dinner time and she couldn't find Naruto anywhere. So, she quickly changed directions and decided to look for Hinata so that she could use said girl's bloodline to help find Naruto. Thankfully, in this case, she was quickly able to find the girl and get her to help in her search mission. So, she now stood in front of Training Ground 7 as Hinata scanned the area around them for any sign of the blonde. Though when Hinata finally was finished, Tenten was surprised by the answer. "Sorry Tenten-san, but I can't see him anywhere around here," Hinata told her. "What? How can that be? You just scanned the entire place. How can he not be here if he was training?" Tenten asked, still shocked. "I don't know, but wherever he is we won't find him," Hinata told the shocked girl, confusing her even more. "Why?" Tenten asked, figuring that everything the boy did would be loud and bold. Well, Naruto was always a master prankster, so he ended up being regularly chased by ninja and civilians alike. So, through this it seems that he has developed his skills in stealth to a shocking level, or at least according to what I have heard. Though I do know for a fact that he even managed to prank the Hyuga clan compound. Hinata tells Tenten, remembering that strange time. Flashback. Hinata 2 years ago. Hinata was standing in front of the academy when she noticed her love interest was just a little way away from her. So, she decided to quickly try to go up and talk to him, though one of the Hyuga council saw this and quickly ran up to Naruto and kicked him hard enough to push him a few feet away from where he once was. Get out of Hinata's way, he told Naruto, smiling, only using that as an excuse to hurt the demon child. After he did this, he quickly walked away, though if he looked at Naruto's eyes he would have noticed the glimmer of mischief in them. Course Hinata didn't see this either, because she quickly left as well, not wanting people to know that she was crying because she thought her love was hurt because of her. Plus that night, Hinata was still crying in her room trying to figure out how to say sorry to Naruto when she heard someone clearly furious outside of her room. Something she rarely heard, seeing as many of the clan tried to keep their emotions to themselves. Still, it was more than enough for Hinata to decide to get out of her room and look around at what was going on. And what she saw was the man that kicked Naruto earlier, yelling at several branch members. How the hell did he get in? I want a full scan of the walls to figure out. And will someone get me something to clean this off with? After he yelled this out, the clan members quickly were trying to do what he asked, while Hinata finally couldn't help but take a closer look at what was going on. Something that led to her ending up in a fit of giggles after seeing the council member. For the council members, once black hair was now dyed bright yellow, or what was left of it anyways. After all, it seems that he also got a haircut that took all of his hair except for a long ponytail. Plus, on his head directly in the center of his forehead was a chicken drawn in permanent marker. Due to this, the council member ended up staying in the clan compound and completely refused to go anywhere in public. He also took to wearing hats quite often and even had the dishonor of wearing his headband over his forehead. Course he never got his revenge on Naruto even when he brought it up to people, seeing as there was no proof it was him. Flashback end. Course Hinata was lost in her thoughts of this day for quite a while, so Tenten decided to leave the girl to her thoughts. But soon after she left, Hinata snapped out of it due to hunger and quickly went home to get some food. Funny enough though, as she ran home, she accidentally ran into the person she was looking for just a little bit before. But due to them both traveling on the roofs, she quickly felt herself lose balance thanks to the shock, but thankfully was saved by the man she hit. Something that made a blush quickly appear on her face. Course this just made Naruto with his already confused mind blush as well. Man, that blush makes her look so cute, and she is in my arms right now. Maybe I should just give her a quick kiss. No. Bad Naruto. You don't even know if she likes you like that. Don't let Anko's teasing get to you this much. Naruto thought to himself and gently put Hinata back on her feet. Course when he did this, she got even more embarrassed and her cheeks turned even more red, and she poked her pointer fingers together repeatedly, showing her shy side even more. She looks even more cute now. But, you know what, screw waiting until I know if she likes me, I am just going to go for it. Naruto told himself, then quickly turned to the girl. Hinata, would you go with me to dinner tonight? Naruto asked, blushing just as